Trump tweeted an absolutely deranged Thanksgiving post where he ranted about legal immigrants and then called Tim Walz the R-word. Look at the length of this message and tell me that he is mentally fit to be running a country. The tweet starts by wishing a happy Thanksgiving to all the American citizens and patriots who have allowed our country to get divided, murdered, and become a laughingstock for being politically correct and having stupid immigration laws. To be very clear, he is talking about legal immigration, not illegal immigration. He's talking about 53 million Americans here that he says are mostly on welfare or come from divided countries or come from prison, drug cartels, a bunch of other places. From that, he segues to Minnesota and Somali immigrants, and that's where he brings up Tim Walz and calls him seriously R-word. Then he moves on to Ilhan Omar and says that her head is always wrapped in her swaddling hijab and that she came here illegally. There's a lot more, but what's important to note is that he says he wants to permanently pause immigration from third world countries. Genuinely, the only thing that must have been permanently paused here was his medication. Because there's no way any rational thinking person would tweet this out. This is the only way that I can explain this tweet is that someone in his administration wants to put a much larger target on his back. Because if you want to put someone in danger, take their phone and tweet anything remotely close to that. I have to imagine that this is him doing his whole distraction thing that he always does whenever something bad happens against him. Right now, that's the Epstein files getting ready to be released. But this just seems crazy because it's so mask off. Because up until now, it's been about illegal immigration. But the president of the United States just tweeted about 53 million legal immigrants.
Late on Thanksgiving evening, Donald Trump posted another lunatic rant. Most unshocking, though, was that he's permanently pausing all migration from third world nations. Permanently pause? That's an oxymoron from a moron. How's he gonna find his next wife? Just so you know, he defines third world by people with more melanin than he has. Let's just permanently pause his presidency.
You know we're in trouble as a country when the president's message to Americans on Thanksgiving reads more like that absolutely freaking batshit crazy cousin of yours that used to send the Christmas letter filled with conspiracy theories that your uncle would read to everyone in a special voice after you opened gifts on Christmas morning. Did anybody else get one of those, or was it just my family? Because it was hysterical. The only problem is this one's being written by the leader of the free world. I mean, would it even be a holiday at this point if we didn't get a racist, nasty, hateful, Islamophobic message filled with complete lies, slander, and misinformation from the president? And in the first message, because he couldn't fit all of that hate into just one message on the day that's supposed to be all about giving thanks, he said that the only solution to this problem was the far-right concept of reverse migration, aka remigration, aka ethnic cleansing. Remigration is a dog whistle to white nationalists who believe that only white people should be in the United States and everybody else should be forced to leave. Best part was we didn't have any MAGA family members and we could read this message while we were eating pie. The worst part was when we realized this wasn't a joke, this was actually from the President of the United States and not from a mentally ill family member that we would never have to see again.
Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is about the major backlash and the strong responses that have come after Trump's recent Thanksgiving messages. Many people have gone online to share their opinion. Some were shocked, while others were very upset, and others defended him. Video credit goes to the original creators of these video clips. Please keep watching to get the real reactions of what people are saying.
Well, it wouldn't be Thanksgiving without your crazy racist grandpa going on unhinged remarks, would it? And that's exactly what's happening here, except it's not the crazy racist uncle in your family, it's the crazy racist grandpa leading the country. So I have Donald Trump here saying the R word, in a Thanksgiving post. He says Happy Thanksgiving here, and then he goes into the R word. The reason why he's doing that is because, now actually, I don't even actually know if he writes these anymore, but if it is him writing these, or even if it's not, it's extremely disturbing that they decided to post this at midnight, a late night screed from the President of the United States on Thanksgiving. The reason why this is happening is because Donald Trump went off the rails in a press availability that he did at Mar-a-Lago a few hours ago, and they know it was bad, so they have to change the subject almost immediately. Here's Donald Trump talking about his golf game when talking to service members.
Not according to fake news. And are you and President Biden going to play that golf match?
I'd love to. I mean, I've invited him, but he doesn't want to show up. Look, I know a lot about golf. I've won 38 club championships, and I don't get to practice much. I won one last year. I won a club championship at a big club, beating a 27-year-old kid. I said, you know, I'm decades older than you, But I said,
Now, when you're watching these, I want you to pay attention because I really, the New York Times did a story on this. I actually haven't done a video on it yet, but the president is clearly not doing well. Not as he not doing well, but the White House knows it. That's what the report's about. I'll probably do a video on that tomorrow. But in the meantime, do pay attention to this. The reason why they don't, okay. And then he goes on to say this, where he says that he is permanently pausing migration from third world countries to allow the U.S. system to fully recover, terminate all of the millions of Biden illegal emissions, including those they signed by Joe Biden, okay, through AutoPen, blah, 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 blah. I don't know. I mean, how do you feel about this? I am just like, how much more can we, I mean, we're on year one. This guy is clearly deteriorating. I actually do not believe Donald Trump wrote this. I don't believe he wrote this. Though it is insane, it is very coherent. And this is clearly, I think clearly what we have right now is we have a situation where the staff is running the asylum. And Grandpa might come out and talk, but Grandpa really isn't there anymore in the way that he used to be. And so, I just want to say too, sorry, this is a little disjointed. I can't believe we had to talk about the fucking president saying the R word in his Thanksgiving post, but he is. And I just refuse to normalize this. I refuse to normalize it. I think it matters. I think it's important. I think it's sad. But I also think that we need to make sure that people understand this is happening. Because I am not sure that the mainstream media will talk about this in the way they need to. And we just have to show all of it. Because not only is he being insane, as I showed you, late at night, but they're also trying to cover up for it by creating shiny objects. And so we're going to show both of it. We're going to show all of it. And I'm sorry I'm like not talking in my normal speaking voice. This hotel is the walls here. It's late at night. And unlike Donald Trump,
Trump's Thanksgiving message should be enough to prove to anyone he's not well, and the media needs to get on board with covering him and this nonsense the same way they did with Joe Biden's every single stammer, stutter, and stumble. He posted this diatribe at midnight, so when Thanksgiving was over, used the R word to describe a governor and went on to attack immigrants and the Somali community. Starting off strong, a very happy Thanksgiving salutation to our great American citizens and patriots who have been so nice in allowing our country to be divided, disrupted, carved up, murdered, beaten, mugged, and laughed at, along with certain other foolish countries throughout the world for being politically correct and just plain stupid when it comes to immigration. He goes on to disparage immigrants and poor people in general, and then he goes on to Governor Tim Walz, calling him that R word. Oh yeah, he did that. I will let you read that for yourself because I don't think I can say that word on here. But as far as Congresswoman Ilhan Omar complaining about her treatment in the country, well, when the President of the United States uses his Thanksgiving message to attack you and go on a diatribe, I would say she has a pretty fair case there, pretty good argument. And the media needs to get on board with this because Trump is not well. How can anyone around him think this is normal? And how can the media go after Joe Biden but think this is okay?
Many people have felt that the tone used by Trump was harsh for a holiday meant for unity. They were upset by the political and the decisive language that he used. And also some have felt that the messages were targeted for certain groups. It was unfair, and especially for immigrants, which has created anger and frustration online. Others have also felt that the language was disrespectful and it was not suitable for the national holiday message. At the same time, some people have also supported him and they have defended him, but the negative reactions have been felt to be very loud.
He's sounding more and more like Hitler every single day. It's no longer just enough to read snippets of his words. And it's why the argument that you're just taking what he's saying out of context is a bullshit argument. Because when you read his words in full context, it makes it a million times worse. A very happy Thanksgiving salutation to all of our great American citizens and patriots who have been so nice in allowing our country to be divided, disrupted, and carved up, murdered, beaten, mugged, and laughed at, along with certain other foolish countries throughout the world for being politically correct and just plain stupid when it comes to immigration, and just like a malignant narcissist to try and ruin the holidays for everyone with all their bullshit. The official United States foreign population stands at 53 million people census, most of which are on welfare from failed nations or from prisons, mental institutions, gangs, or drug cartels. Also notice how he puts people who are on welfare, people who are from failed nations, and people who are from quote-unquote prisons, mental institutions, gangs, or drug cartels all on the same plane. Cuba's a failed nation, right? And you are part of the foreign population. You are part of the foreign population of this country, according to Donald Trump. Let us continue. Trump says this foreign population and their children are supported by massive payments from patriotic Americans who, because of their beautiful hearts, do not want to openly complain or cause trouble in any way, shape, or form. They put up with what has happened to our country, but it's eating them alive to do so. A migrant earning $30,000 with a green card will get roughly $50,000 in yearly benefits for their family. Lies. The real migrant population, I wonder who the real migrant population is that he's referring to. The leading cause of social dysfunction in America, something that did not exist after World War II. As an example, hundreds of thousands of refugees from Somalia are completely taking over the once great state of Minnesota. Somalian gangs are roving the streets looking for prey as our wonderful people stay locked in their apartments and houses, hoping against hope that they won't be left alone. The next part, y'all. The seriously governor of Minnesota, Tim Walz, does nothing, either through fear, incompetence, or both, while the worst congressman woman in our country, Ilhan Omar, always wrapped in her swaddling hijab, and who probably came into the USA illegally in that you are not allowed to marry your brother, does nothing but hatefully complain about our country, its constitution, and how badly she's treated, when her place of origin is a decadent, backwards, and crime-ridden nation, which is essentially not even a country for lack of government, military, police, schools, etc. Can we just take a second to sit with all of that for a minute? Just the utter wickedness and disgusting hatred, the putridness of the words of the president. He repeatedly conflates the foreign population, as he calls it in the United States, with illegal immigrants and criminals. Anyone who isn't foreign born with our people. He calls them our people. Do y'all not see what he's saying here? It's really bad when the ableist slur that he used against a Democrat governor is not even the most shocking thing that he said. Ultimately, this is what everyone's going to be focusing on because, yes, it is truly detestable. But in context, this entire tweet is one of the most disgusting and dangerous things that I've ever heard, not just a president say, but any leader in general. I think it's a cop-out, honestly, to assume that every time you see some long-winded, hate-filled thing on Trump's Truth Social account, that it's Stephen Miller, just because it uses big words. He's just as bad as all the rest of the people that he put to surround him with. If you think that getting this man out of office isn't going to at least pump the brakes a little bit, Stephen Miller might be behind a lot of what he says on his social media accounts. But this is 100% Donald Trump. Let's not give him an out. To say that Stephen Miller wrote this is giving him an out. He's a hate-filled, disgusting individual, and he's getting worse. He sounds like Hitler.
Wow, Donald Trump has just announced something huge that most people still haven't clocked. He says the United States will bring in a permanent pause on immigration, on migration, from what he calls third world countries. Not a temporary freeze, not a review, a permanent pause. That's one of the toughest positions any modern Western leader has taken on immigration, and the scale of it hasn't sunk in yet. If this goes ahead, it rewrites America's entire approach to who gets in, who stays, and how the system works. Now, Trump says he's doing this because the immigration system is broken beyond repair and that the country needs time to reset. And he's tying this in directly to an attack in Washington where 2 National Guard members were shot. And the suspect, an Afghan, had reportedly entered the US through an early resettlement program. And sadly today, we've learned that one of those guardsmen has now died in hospital. That single fact is going to change the entire political landscape. This is no longer just a debate about policy, it's a national security story, a public safety story, and a leadership story. And when something like this happens on American soil, every politician is forced into a corner. Trump's argument is simple. If the system lets in people it can't properly vet, then the system needs to stop, reset, and restart on his terms. And here's why this matters for the rest of the world. When the US takes dramatic action, other countries feel the pressure to follow. It creates what I call political permission. If America can pause whole categories of migration, why can't Britain? Why can't Europe? Especially when so many people across the West already feel their immigration systems are overwhelmed and not fit for purpose. Trump's already talking about reviewing millions of green card cases, removing federal benefits from non-citizens, and deporting people he says aren't a net asset. That language has set up alarms in the media, but privately a lot of voters agree with that blunt approach, even if they'd never admit it out loud. And that's exactly why this story is blowing up. The mood across the West is shifting. A soldier has now died, the politics has hardened, and the debate has moved into territory governments usually avoid. Whether Trump's pause is legal or ends in court doesn't even matter yet. The signal has been sent, the tough era on borders has started, and America just fired the first shot. What do you think of this? Drop your thoughts in the comments and follow for more news, views, and uncomfortable truths.
Thank you so much for watching this video. I truly appreciate your time and your support. If you have enjoyed this breakdown, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to this channel. Please tell me your thoughts in the comment section below. I'd love to hear your thoughts and your opinion. Stay tuned for more videos. Goodbye, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.